I hold you as a subject in this war, not as a brother.
That's as we list to grace him. Methinks our pleasure might have been demanded ere you spoke so far. He led our powers, bore the commission of my place in person, the which immediacy might well stand up and call itself your brother.
Not so hot. In his own grace, he doth exalt himself more than in your addiction.
In my rights, by me invested, he compeers the best.
That were the best if he should husband you.
Jesters do oft prove prophets.
Allah! The eye that told you so looked but a squint.
Lady, I am not well, else I should answer from a full flowing stomach. General, take thou my soldiers, prisoners, patrimony, dispose of them, of me. The walls is thine. Witness the world that I create here thee, my lord.
Mean you to enjoy him then?
The let alone lies not in your goodwill,
nor in thine, lord.
Hot-blooded fellow, yes.
Let the drum strike, and who my title thine?
Stay yet. Hear reason. Edmund, I arrest thee on capital punishment, and in thine attaint, this gilded serpent. I bar it in the interest of my wife, who is subcontracted to this lord. And I, as her husband, contradict your bans. My lady is bespoke.
An interlude!
Thou art armed, Gloucester. Let the trumpet sound. If none appear to prove upon thy person thy heinous manifest in many crimes, there is my pledge. I make it on my heart, ere I taste bread. Thou art nothing more than I have here proclaimed thee.
Sick! Oh, sick! If not, I'll ne'er trust medicine.
There's my exchange. What in the world is he that makes me traitor? Villain like he lies. Call by thy trumpet. He that dare approaches, on him, on you, who not. I will maintain my honor and truth firmly.
Trust in thy single virtue, for thy soldiers, all levied in my name, have in my name took their discharge.
My sickness grows upon me.
She is not well. Convey her to my tent.
This is practice, Gloucester.
Shut your mouth, dame, or with this paper shall I stop it. Thou art worse than any other name. Read thy own evil. Nay, no tearing. I perceive you know.
If I do, the laws are mine, not thine. Who can arraign me forth?
Okay, so we decided to open the scene up with having Edmund and Albany in a center, and then Goneril and Regan on either side of them, with Albany and Goneril, since they're married, on one side, and then Regan and Edmund on the other side, since they're lovers. And so basically when the audience first sees that, and you see this tension between Edmund and Albany, because they're in the center, they're facing each other, and you don't know what, but they're fighting over something. And then pretty soon, Regan defends Edmund, and then Goneril quickly crosses Patrick and pushes him out of the way. And then they have their head on, and then they start to fight over Edmund.
So, my character is Goneril, and throughout the scene, it's pretty obvious that I have the upper hand because, you know, Goneril and Regan have a really weak relationship. You know, as you can see, Goneril poisons Regan, and she's really happy about that. She doesn't seem to show any remorse at all. Her only regret is that her plan doesn't work in the end. The conflict between Albany and Edmund was kind of my fault, well, Goneril's fault, and that's why I'm in the middle of them in the scene. Throughout the scene, Albany is kind of like taking charge, kind of. I mean, he's like accusatory towards Goneril and Edmund, and towards the end of the scene, he shows a letter that he found, a love letter from Goneril to Edmund, and Goneril gets really nervous about that, and she's just starting to get really desperate because she realizes that her plan isn't working, so she ends up just snatching the letter and running off.
My character is Regan, and I'm Goneril's sister. And I guess the main thing, like, from our interpretation was that Regan and Goneril were, like, two different people. They're not just, like, two evil twins or anything. They're just separate people, I guess. And we really wanted to, like, illustrate that the best. And in this scene, you can see it really well. Especially in how Goneril and Regan, like, act towards each other. So Goneril pushes me down at one point right after I'm kneeled down in front of Edmund. And you can see, like, I guess the tension between us because Goneril really wants Edmund, and so does Regan, and it's just kind of like a fight over Edmund, and you can see that in that scene.
Regan basically devotes the last of her life over to Edmund and gets down on her knees and is like, basically, take me as it is. And then Goneril comes over and pushes over there because she's jealous now. And but still, Regan like holds on to Edmund for strength, and Edmund just isn't giving it to her. And then we see that when she loosely lets go of her arm.
Originally, Goneril and Regan were fighting over me, and I was enjoying that because, like, I thought that having them on my side would help me try to gain power against Albany. But eventually, Regan was just kind of going more and more crazy throughout the story, and you could see that our relationship progressed as I just stopped, like, giving her any attention. I swiped my hand away at one point, and then I let Goneril stay, like, on my side, so that shows that I was just kind of using them to, like, gain power from Albany. And that also, like, ties into some Machiavellian influences because that shows that I'm just using both of them to try to gain power, and power is really my own motivation. I'm not doing it out of love for either of them.
But soon after, Albany comes over, gets in between Goneril and Albany versus Regan on the floor, and basically turns his back to his wife, showing that he's officially done with her as much as he can be, and he's giving aid to Regan. And then once Regan leaves, Goneril is now the center of attention, and Edmund and Albany are basically fighting over her. Parmida suggested this in the film, was that we have for Goneril as a side is that she just looks off in the distance, and then the camera zooms into her face, and she says her comment. And then we see this again later with Albany towards the end, when we just had Patrick staring at the camera at the end, as Goneril runs away with the papers.
So as you can see from the very beginning of our video, that Albany, my character, is very angry. And there's two main sources that I see as his main cause of the anger. One is Edmund, who is trying to take away my power and take it for himself. And the other source is Goneril, who has betrayed me to my enemy, who is trying to take away my power. I view Albany as being, at heart, mostly a good character, so he's sympathetic with King Lear, and he's not out to hurt others for his own gain. But you don't really get to see this in our scene because I'm so consumed by the anger I have towards Edmund and towards Goneril. And one of the techniques that we used to more purely express that anger was to take off my glasses. And we also took off Ronnie's glasses so that you could see our gazes, our eye contact more clearly without any distraction.
And the way we're dressed too is also pretty contrasting. I'm wearing like black and she's wearing like a pink dress too, so it's really different. And also I'm wearing black and my husband just died. I'm dying because my sisters poisoned me. Like, my life really just sucks at that time.